to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. Wake up, Africa. That's what this show is all about. Special shout out to every single person that supports us on Patreon and PayPal. We appreciate, love you so much for enabling us to continue to do what we do. We are taking an absolutely new direction. We're loving it. Thanks to everyone that has subscribed and is joining us on this journey. I've started an Ask Dr. Mumbi because you guys have so many questions, which I absolutely love. So I'm trying to get to at least the ones that seem to be on the group mind, the ones that a lot of people are curious about. And one of the arguments I've heard or statements is, ancestral worship. First of all, worship is even the wrong word, but ancestral worship is wrong. It's wicked. You'll get some mashup ancestors, etc., etc. So you should just avoid it totally. So should you mess with your ancestors? That's a question that I've been seeing persistently in the comments, and I've gotten a few emails about that. And really, first of all, when we talk about communing with the ancestors, many of you already are. There's a voice inside of you that sounds like your own voice. It's like, you may think it's your intuition, you may think it's your seventh sense or something, but these are ways that, our ancestors, just because you abandon them, they don't abandon you. But the thing to understand is that the primary concern of yours in this spiritual journey should be to elevate yourself as high as possible so that you're dealing with the highest level, ancestors that you can. And, it's not about worship. You're not worshiping anybody. It's about communing with your ancestors so that all the knowledge that is blocked up in hidden from you, literally in your own DNA, all the information about our history, our story, let me put it like that, and, all your hidden potentials, etc., etc., all of those, that's why we commune with our ancestors, because they give us so much revelation and insight, and they give us an edge in this world. But if you're still down there vibrationally, beloveds, if you're still down there spiritually, then you really need to, then of course you're going to encounter, those lower vibrating, ancestors, etc., etc. Because you have to remember, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And so there's so many, spiritually, because we've closed our first eye, we can't see spiritually all the different dimensions that are playing out, all the different, our spiritual team, all the different beings that make our spiritual team, etc., etc. I actually do a video on, what your spiritual team looks like. So we don't have access to that. So, there are spirits that have always, when you're low vibrational, the only people who will deal with you are low vibrational beings. So if you ever got into like the drinking vibe or the partying spree, etc., etc., it was all, it felt so addictive because there were spirits, because you were so low vibe. I hope this makes sense. There were spirits, literally like alcohol spirit, whiskey spirit, vodka spirit, and many other spirits that would enter you because they love that experience, because you are honored to have like a physical vessel at such a time as this, to be able to really move and shake things. And that's why you should have no fear, and you should defend this with your soul, with your life. You should defend this vessel with your life, beloveds, because it gives you what many spirits don't have. And so, the gift of experience. And so many lower vibrational spirits will, when you are low vibe, they will penetrate you to have that risque sex experience, in the alley somewhere. I mean, I'm just saying, like, all the things, or to have that, kleptomania experience, and it's not you, and you almost feel like you're out of character when that happens, or to do some mashup shit, or to do some mashup things to people, etc., etc. So, The first thing before you go seeking out any spiritual beings, because there are those that are assigned to you, that you assigned to you, you had agreements before you came here. I mean, the intricacy and beauty of how this realm plays out is absolutely magical. But so you have to continuously elevate yourself, and that should be your prime concern. Clean up your body, clean up your, like, what you're eating, what you're thinking, etc., so that you block all the windows and doors that you may have opened to these lesser vibe beings, and everything that kind of keeps you on a very basic and childlike thinking patterns, etc. So the more you elevate and clear yourself up and start to do your meditation, start to spend more and more time in nature, just sitting in nature, barefoot in nature, etc., and more, moving more into your purpose and mission, the more you will, start to even be attuned to, to the different spirits that are there, and you'll be able to tell if these are your ancestors or if they're your guardian angels. I'll do a video on this for your spiritual team. So it's very important to elevate so that you associate with the right ancestors that can actually give you gifts, that can actually bestow on you, powers and abilities, that can give you information that will open your mind to the next dimension. Because the thing is, we want to open up our minds as quickly as possible so we can become, fully supreme beings as quickly as possible, so that we can start doing some serious signs and wonders in this dimension, and save a lot of souls, manipulated souls that may not be strong enough while we're at it. So yeah, vibe higher so that you can connect with your highest vibing ancestors. And it's important to commune with the ancestors because they're the ones who have been here on this land. They know there's so much hidden knowledge across Zion, beloveds. So much hidden knowledge. And the only way to access that knowledge is through, our ancestors. They didn't leave, they may have left some manuscripts, etc., which are in the Vatican, which are in many of the vaults of these European museums, but they also left that information here, and they're the ones who can give us the keys to accessing that kind of information. And that is why we would want to connect with them, because there's layers of reality, beloveds, and you want to be in the highest reality. Many right now are in the lowest reality, and that's why even if you're a high vibing being, coming onto certain platforms just feels like you're going back into a very sticky and heavy vibe. So seek out your highest reality, and the only way you can know your highest reality, because you've been lied to so much, is through your highest level ancestors. The Christs in your bloodline, the teachers in your bloodline, the healers in your bloodline, the creators in your bloodline. Tapping into that so that you can become and embody all those things, because they can easily bestow that spirit onto you. But those are definitely stories for other days. Thank you for joining us on Ask Dr. Mumbi. Until next time, tuko pamoja.